Hello and welcome back to She Sparks Live, episode 8, Focus on Harmony, Not Balance. Women leaving their mark and sharing their spark. We're super excited to have our guest with us today, Ayanna Franzen.
Hi.
Thank you for coming on the show. Just as normal, we would love to ask you a question just to spark off this episode, Ayanna, and that is, do you have any weird or cool skills or talents?
That's an interesting question that you asked, Lex. I was thinking, I don't have any weird skills, but a cool talent is I can tap dance, which most people don't know about me. And it's actually my favorite kind of dance to do is tap dance. Been doing it since I was 5.
You can tap dance?
Yes. Absolutely love
what?
it.
Yes. If we were totally standing up, we would totally
do
have
tap
you.
dance
You're
together.
going to have to
it'd be
show
fun.
this.
I'll do one
That's
together.
awesome. Do you have any other weird or cool talents?
Weird or cool talents? I don't like bananas. Is that weird?
You don't like Are you allergic? Or?
I wish I was. I just don't like them.
Okay. Well, that's totally good to know. I think one of my weird talents, and, you know, if you're watching this, congratulations, but I can fold my tongue backwards.
Oh, my goodness.
Which is really, really weird. It's a weird talent. But anyways, thank you for sharing that, Ayanna. So for the first question, let us know, what is your passion and what do you do?
What do I do? Well, my passion is I feel God's called me to find people find joy in their journey.
Mm-hmm.
So help people to find joy in their story and what they're doing. And
I love that.
that's pretty much what I think I'm there to do is basically help people find their own joy in their story, no matter how I can do that.
That's awesome. And so what sparked your journey? How'd you get to where you're at today?
That's an interesting story. I got here in a very odd, I never would have said I'm going to become a Mary Kay beauty consultant. Not something I would ever have said in my life because in my head I kept saying I was too smart because I have a law degree. So my background is law. I actually wanted to go to law school when I was 5 years old. And I also went to dance. And my parents always encouraged me and said, you can do anything you want to do. So go ahead and do it. And so I went to college as a dance major and then graduated from college and went to law school. And then I worked at a dance studio and did law at the same time to keep my life kind of in harmony.
Oh my gosh,
which kind of goes with our topic. So my life was kind of chaotic, but I was always at peace because I was fulfilling both sides of my brain.
So awesome. Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow, what a journey.
Yes.
And so the topic is focus on harmony and not balance.
Yes.
And you actually chose that topic.
I did.
So what does that topic mean to you and why did you choose it?
I think people always think of scales and thinking of balance, like I have to do this way, this way, and everybody's always stressed out, so trying to find balance in their life. And I kind of like to think about it as finding harmony in your life because I think of it like a wheel. And so there's this thing in the middle, and that's who you are as a person. And 100% of the time of my life, I'm a Christian, I'm a mom, I'm a wife. I can't stop being a mom because I'm at work. I can't stop being a wife. And so what I tell people is think of it like a wheel. That's your center of who you are. And then all the other things in your life are spokes. Your social life, your eating habits, your workouts are all little spokes. And kind of if you keep it all together, but just keep focusing on who you are at the core, you'll have harmony and not worry so much about, oh my gosh, I have to be a mom and I'm work and you're trying to keep it all juggling. And I think juggling stresses people out, but just think harmony, not balance, because nothing's ever going to be in balance. That's why they have the scales always.
Exactly. Well, and balance is like a bike.
Yeah.
Like the only way to stay balanced is just keep
going.
moving forward, right? And so my next question for you is, because you kind of talked about your wheel, and I see that as like a continuous journey, right? Is to always do that. So how can we always move forward with our balance to have that continuous journey in our lives?
Well, something I think about is that you should always be learning. You always hear that leaders are readers. And so you should always be reading something for yourself. John Maxwell says that, and that's something, I love John Maxwell books, but reading constantly, trying to grow yourself, and realizing that you're never there yet. There's always something you can learn. And so sometimes you'll go into a situation and think, okay, I've already heard this before. But if you go on with an open mind to every situation, thinking, what can I learn from this? Something will come out of it. And also, if you think you know something about something, you can also look at who am I there to give something to. So it may not be for you, but for somebody else, which helps you continue to grow as well.
I love that. What I got out of that is you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
Right? So go learn it.
Yes, definitely.
I love it. So I think it's awesome, Ayanna, that you are a mom, you do business, you're amazing at building relationships, and you're just an expert in so many things. And so my question for you is, what has helped you with time management? Doing all of this and staying balanced and focusing on harmony.
Well, time management to me, I think, is planning ahead. I'm a planner, and I'm one of those people that actually still uses a paper calendar. I don't use my phone. I use a paper calendar because I need to actually see my whole schedule.
Tangible.
But I use something called a weekly plan sheet that I actually learned doing my Mary Kay business. And basically each week I take this little calendar and I highlight the things that I cannot move. Like me working out in the morning is a non-negotiable. Otherwise I will not get through my day. Me having quiet time, spending time with my family, anything that's non-negotiable, drop my daughter off at dance class, I put on there. and then I fill in everything else after that. So I have the things that are set, and my family knows that calendar so that we're all on the same page. Like date nights in red, and so I know when that is with my husband, and I plan those as well. So
that is smart.
I'm just using a color, like, and purple's my favorite color, so everything that's my personal time, I highlight in purple. And
purple! Woo!
And the good thing about that is keeping harmony is you can look at your calendar, and if you use different colors and you have no purple, that means you need to kind of reevaluate what you're doing because you need to leave some time for yourself. So
yeah, I love that. That's awesome. And so when I first met you, it was a while back, but I definitely fell in love with what you do and just who you are. And I remember when I actually came, because you offer free facials.
Yes, I do.
Not just facials.
Free.
These are
free,
amazing facials. And when I came to your house and I got one, I fell in love with your makeup remover product. I love it. I love it. So if you need a great makeup remover, it's totally hands down the best. But one thing that I really noticed about you when I met and got that facial is you are awesome at sales, Ayanna, and just really getting to know the person and building that trust. So what are some ways or techniques or tips that people can really focus on to boost their sales in their business?
So I think the most important part is people are always like scared of sales is getting to know the person, like you said, getting to know the person. And something that it's a quote from Mary Kay is everybody has a sign around their neck that says make me feel important. And that's what you have to focus on is what's important to them. It's not about I want to sell you this, I want to sell you this. It's taking the time to get to know them, to know what's right for them. Everything may not be right for every person, so don't assume ahead of time. Take the time to actually get to know them and find out what is their need. So find a need and fill it is also something I like to say. But when you're working in sales, you can't just be focused on selling something to somebody. Be focused on getting to know them to figure out what they need. So I don't think of it as selling. I think of filling a need. And if they don't have a need, figure out what else you can do together. Maybe there's something else you can share with each other that's something different. So
yeah. So tell me, because I think the listeners would like to hear this. Sometimes in business, it really is hard to focus on sales and how to do sales. So what's your definition of sales?
My definition of sales is, I think the way I would look at it is I kind of think when I'm people always say I'm very, sometimes like, you're not a very hard seller. And I was like, is that a compliment or an insult? And I was like, it's because they're like, well, you're not trying to force me into something. I said, well, I'm helping you find something that you love and enjoy. So it's something, you'll make that decision on your own because you fall in love with it. It's not me trying to sell it to you. It's giving you a chance to experience it and you make your own decision. So I think experiences are super important, which is why I love what I do, because we create an experience for you. It's not just like, here, take a catalog, get something. It's like, people know me, I won't sell somebody something if they haven't met with me first, because I'm like, you might not like it. I want you to actually experience so that you can get the full experience, and I'm brutally honest, so if something doesn't look good on you, I will tell you.
Yeah,
I've done that before to people, but
well,
I want people to experience it, and if they have a bad experience, I want them to tell me. I'm very key on feedback. I'm like, I'm not going to say, I'm like, you don't have to like everything. That's okay.
I love that. So yes, sales is totally an experience.
Yes.
Right? And sales isn't, there's a difference between selling and educating.
Yes.
And I think the education is the experience piece that you're talking about. And I do love that you said that everybody does have a sign around their neck, make me feel important. We actually talked about that on episode 7. For me, I use that technique, MMFI, on their forehead. Yes. So I love that you shared that, and it's a technique that you can take away and use for yourself. And so do you feel like you have any other education or knowledge, whether it's what you're doing now or what you've done in the past, something that our listeners can really benefit from in your past experiences?
Something that I've learned a lot, because I'm one of those people that doesn't like to do things if I know I'm not going to do them well, because I'm kind of like, but one of my favorite books I tell every person that I ever meet to read is Failing Forward by John Maxwell, because failing, you have to fail to move forward. And I think a lot of people think of failure as a negative thing, but if you're not failing, you're not trying, you're not moving forward, you're not growing yourself. And so that's definitely one of my favorite things. And also finding inspiration in other things. Like, there's inspiration in everything you do. Like, I like watching sporting events because you watch people have the camaraderie. Like, my other favorite book is by Drew Brees. It's called Coming Back Stronger. It's just his story of basically building himself up and stuff. And so I think my biggest thing for people is to just find joy in everything. There's joy in everybody's story, and everybody has a story to tell, and finding that joy. Yes. That's definitely something that I love doing, because I love hearing people's story and finding out what brings them joy. And if they're in a bad place and they don't have joy in their life, it's helping them figure out where that joy spot is. And that's probably the favorite thing I do, is just hearing people have a chance to tell their story, because most people don't take time for themselves.
Yeah, well, and you need to hear people's story.
Yes.
And you need to tell your story.
Yes.
I love it. So do you mind sharing a time that you've experienced a failure, but then it turned into a success?
Yeah, that's funny. I think about, that's one of those questions that people ask you what you failed at. And I'd say I've failed a lot in my Mary Kay business, but I haven't stopped going. Like, I've been in Mary Kay now 9 years. I just had my 9-year anniversary last week.
Congrats!
And I'm the people that know me know I'm not where I want to be yet. And it's because I've had to fail a lot. Like, I've tried things that did not work and fell flat on my face and realized I don't do that very well. Let's find a way that works for me. But I think the biggest thing with me when I fail at stuff like law school was not a happy occasion. I hated it, but I finished it because I said I was going to.
Good, another high five!
And I had to take the bar exam twice, and that's because I failed it the first time. But that's because I got full of myself and thought, I don't need to study. I'm a smart girl. I went to UCLA. And that was not very smart. And when I actually took the time, I was like, but that was good for me because then I could actually relate to other people. Because your failures help other people so much because it's an experience. It's a teachable moment. A failure's never a failure unless you don't learn from it.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you're watching or listening to this right now, take the time to really focus on just your failures that you've experienced. And again, like you said, something good is or has come out of it. So just really focus on your failures and turn those into successes.
Yes.
Like you said. I love it.
And look for them.
Yeah.
And also find people in your life that can help you look for if you feel like you're failing all the time, have a good mentor, which is huge. Mentorship is huge. Just finding somebody that you can go to and say, I'm failing at this, and they can help you see. Like, if you're not seeing any good in it, ask somebody else, like, you're not failing. You're learning.
You're learning.
You're learning.
Yes, that's awesome. And so just to wrap up episode 8, Ayanna, you have been a member of She Sparks Business for almost a year now because she turns 1 in May, which is exciting. So tell us, how has She Sparks Business, being a member, how has it helped you personally and professionally?
I'd say personally it's helped me be more vulnerable. I'm not a person that vulnerability is like my weakness. It's like my kryptonite. Yeah. And definitely in She Sparks, it's given me a chance to be more vulnerable and real with people and realize people like me for who I am. And it's okay to be vulnerable and that you don't have to have everything all together because perfectionism is something that I've always constantly looking to recover from. So vulnerability is definitely something that I've learned personally. And just learning we've learned so many skills. If you guys have never been to She Sparks, we learn life skills, business skills every single time. And like I said, if you always go in looking that you're going to learn something, you will. And it's like every time I come, I'm like, oh my gosh, and I can't help telling people. I go back to other places, I'm like, you'll never believe what we learned. And sometimes I know it's stuff I've heard before, but you hear it from a different perspective when you hear it from different women, and you meet so many different people that have so many different backgrounds, life experiences, that it definitely makes a huge difference.
I love it. So we do teach a lot for these women. What is the one that comes top of mind that has really stuck to you that you've learned in She Sparks?
It was actually the one that you did on selling, like what's your...
Selling versus educating?
Yes, you did talk about that. So that's actually one that really affected me because it's like, are you educating people? Like we had to describe a slinky.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That one was like in November, I think. So. Awesome. Yeah, we did have women sell us. It was so funny. I have to say this. So I did have these members sell a slinky, and it is hard to sell it. And we partnered them up, and you just look around the room, and all the women are like, that was funny. So fun. It was so fun. Oh, women are amazing. So what would you like to say for those who have never been to an event or has not experienced a women's community? What would you like to say to them?
Get there. Don't miss it. Just come for your own experience. And even if you just need to, if you're a mom especially, you don't ever get time for yourself, come spend some time with women, have some grown-up time, and just time to relate with women, which is a totally different experience, but I know that you'll enjoy it and have fun. And come say hi. Say that you saw me on the live.
Yes, exactly. And so just some of our upcoming events. April 18th is our next women's community event that is for members and non-members. The Easter Bunny's coming with an excellent surprise. We're super excited. And then May 10th, save the date. That entire day, we are really treating the women in the community to celebrate She Turns 1. Yay. And so this is episode 8, focus on harmony, not balance. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you at episode 9.
Bye!